So that's going to start now. So again, thank you so much for joining us. My name is Megan Curtis. I'm the executive director at Project Animal Aid, and I'm joined here tonight by Maya Key. She is our development manager and program lead. Marcy Thrash, our program director, will be joining us as well. And we are very privileged to have Dr. Pierre Duport from the Mazunte Project joining us as well. The Mazunte Project is a program of the, oh, my slide, there we go, of the Palmarito sea turtle rescue in Mexico. And Pierre is going to tell us about the work that the Mazunte Project does down in Oaxaca. So we will have time towards the end for Q&A. So throughout the program or later, just put your questions in the chat and we'll get to them a little bit later. So again, the purpose of us being here tonight and hosting this virtual event is to say thank you and to share some of the ways that your support and generosity is making a difference around the world. We've hosted this event online since COVID hit in 2020. And what that's really, it's been nice because our supporters and partners around the US and sometimes around the world are able to join us. So it's a really, really nice way to spread some of these stories. But no matter where you live, your support has made a huge difference and is being put to use every day for animals in need. So thank you. So with that, just sit back, relax, and know that it's because of you that all of these stories can be told and that the animals you'll see are living happier, healthier lives. So as mentioned on this slide, Project Animal Aid currently supports about 125 partners in 43 countries. We're excited every year, as witnessed in this picture, we're excited every year to add new partners. And this year we were really excited to bring on 2 new wildlife partners in Peru. One is called Amazon Shelter and pardon me, the other is Rainforest Awareness Rescue Education Center. And this beautiful creature is being treated at those organizations. So really quickly, and I know you've all heard this before, but our partners provide veterinary care to animals of all kinds, companion animals, working animals, and wildlife, both free roaming and those living in sanctuary. Our dual purpose, Project Animal Aid's dual purpose, is to keep valuable, usable items out of the landfill and put them into the hands of those veterinarians and animal care workers and give them the tools that they need to do their job. So the numbers here reflect what you've made possible for Project Animal Aid last year. Each year we continue to grow and add more partners. We receive more and more in-kind donations. And in 2023, we placed approximately 1,100 parcels that totaled 24 tons of usable equipment and supplies. And we kept those items from going to the landfill or just sitting, gathering dust and not being utilized. The heaviest item that we placed, here's a fun fact, last year and I think this year, were some kennel banks. And last year specifically, we had a large set that was picked up by a partner, Evelyn Alexander Wildlife Rescue in New York. So this slide is a little messy and it's not real exciting. It doesn't have that, oh my gosh, that's so cute moment. But I think that the information here is really, really impactful. Each year, we ask our partners to provide us with information and statistics, and we aggregate all of those responses. And these tables here are the summary of those responses. And so the services listed across the top are offered by our partners. And so as an example, in that first column there, in 2023, our partners offered about 757,000 vaccination services to the animals in their care. And so gloves, needles, syringes, items that Project Animal Aid provides and that you'll hear about a little bit later, uh, have assisted in the administration of those vaccines. So some of these numbers are just incredible, and again, the magnitude is just really something that I wanted to note. Our partners are very, very impressive, and we're really grateful to work with all of these organizations on what they're, accomplishing in their communities. So as I mentioned, our donations continue to increase. These pictures are some of the donations we've received this year, from the general items that you can think of: bandaging, gloves, leashes, collars, and things like that, to all kinds of operational, desperately needed, and usable items. This year, we continue our partnership with Blue Pearl, and we are hoping to expand that partnership into other Mars veterinary health hospitals. We've also started a partnership with Jorgensen Laboratories. They are a Colorado company with national and international reach in the veterinary equipment and supply industry. And some of these slides that just rolled through were donations of theirs. This summer, we started a partnership with Denver Health Medical Center, which, for those not from this area, is one of the largest public hospitals along the Front Range. And the items that they have donated just since the summer have been incredibly valuable to our partners. So receive donations from all of these organizations and businesses, as well as privately owned and other corporate veterinary hospitals, zoos, individuals, and other nonprofits. And the donations just keep coming in. Like I said, we're super busy and really excited about being so busy. So now let's kind of shift and get into the, oh my gosh, that's so cute moment, away from the statistics and the numbers. And without waiting any longer, I would like to introduce you to our special guest, Dr. Pierre Dupour, from the Mazunte Project in Oaxaca, Mexico. So Dr. Dupour is going to talk to us about, all of the incredible work that the Mazunte Project does. But I just wanted to comment that the work that they do is very unique from the partners that we work with. And, many of our partners do amazing work, but this one is really unique. So we're really excited to hear what Dr. Dupour has to say, and you're going to love it. So Pierre, are you there and off mute?
I'm ready. I'm here.
Thank you for joining
Okay.
us.
Thank you. And thank you for joining us this evening. And thank you for being contributors to the Project Animal Aid. It's because of Project Animal Aid that we've been able to help thousands of dogs, cats, sea turtles, and people in Oaxaca, Mexico. Um, The Mazunte Project started in 2001 in response to the uncontrolled population of feral dogs that roamed the beaches and preyed on sea turtles, their eggs, and hatchlings. Initially, there were huge packs of feral dogs, as large as 60 in number, that roamed the beaches. Now, we see very few, if any, feral dogs roaming the beaches. Having participated as a veterinarian in this mobile surgical campaign since 2006, I've seen the positive impact that the Mazunte Project has had on the Pacific coast of Oaxaca. So let's travel to Mexico where it's a little warmer. So here's Mazunte, southern part of Mexico. Next slide.
All right, hang on. There we go.
And we patrol over 120 miles of beach. Along the coastline of Oaxaca, from Chicahua in the west to Panala on the east. Um, Oftentimes, these villages that we go to can be very remote and difficult to get to, but um, some of the most endangered turtles in the world, the leatherbacks, are at some of the beaches that we go to, and so we make an extra effort to to get there. Next slide. I'd like to introduce you to one of the founders of the Mazunte Project. Uh, this is Dr. Marcelino Rise, who started the project in 2001. Um, and he is a busy guy. Marcelino works at the Turtle Center, which is kind of like a SeaWorld for turtles in Mazunte. He runs the turtle camp in Palmerito, and he's also a professor at the College of Veterinary Medicine in Oaxaca. This is just one of the many things that Project Animal Aid has donated. This is an autoclave, and I think it's the only one around. So it's great because he's able to sterilize instruments, and he does quite a bit of sea turtle surgery, which you'll see later. Next slide. These are some of the villages that we visit, and I just wanted to include these to show some of the supplies that Project Animal Aid donates on a yearly basis. Endotracheal tubes, surgical towels, laryngoscopes, IV catheters, and thousands of syringes. Next slide. More supplies, and it really makes a big difference as far as what we can do in a year. With all these supplies, we've really been able to expand. Next slide. More 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 supplies that Project Animal Aid has contributed. Next slide. So this is a couple of our patients patiently waiting for surgery. By the time we get to the village, there's usually a line of 30 to 40 people waiting with their pets. And people are anxious to get veterinary care for their pets. And um, it's it's uh, it's very enlightening to see how much people love their animals all over the world. Next slide. This is a village, Cazualtepec. It's always pretty busy. Next slide. This is kind of shows different modes of transportation of how our patients get to us. The canoe on the right is a very unique place called Chikawa. It's very remote, and the people are very unique. It's a population of Afro-Mexicans. In 1810, a ship carrying slaves ran aground here, and the slaves became free. There aren't many outsiders that travel to Chikawa, so when we hold a surgery clinic there, it's always a unique experience. One year, one of our volunteers, Genevieve, noticed that the children in the village were staring at her, and she didn't understand. She asked one of the moms sitting on the sidelines, "Why are they staring?" And she replied that they had never seen a blonde person before, and she thinks you have white disease. So it's a great place, and it's always interesting to talk to the people there. They are extremely generous, always bring us a really nice shrimp lunch while we're there. Next slide. A service that we started recently is we provide reading glasses. Um, and these ladies on the right both got a set of readers, and their bag contains a couple cats that came in for surgery. And the lady on the left, she got a pair of glasses too, and her dogs had surgery, and she has a couple cats too. So, next slide. These people all got glasses, and it's amazing. There just is no ophthalmic or optometry in the area, so people get to a point in their life and they need reading glasses. So it one in particular person was really into needlepoint, and she hadn't been able to do it for years. And she was so thrilled to get a pair of glasses that she could start doing needlepoint again. She brought one of our veterinary assistants a beautiful needle pointed bag. And the assistant said, I just couldn't believe, how generous this lady was, but it really improved her quality of life significantly, having a pair of glasses. Next slide. This is Dr. Kate, and she's holding a informal class in Santo Domingo. A big part of our mission is education, making people aware of the importance of healthcare for their pets. The antiparasitics that we use and provide to our patients, they provide a benefit to the human population also. A condition that people get when they come into contact with soil contaminated with hookworm eggs that are shed by infected dog feces is called cutaneous larval migrans. And we've noticed a definite decrease in the amount of people with this condition. So treating people with antiparasitics has significantly decreased. And it is one of the benefits of the work we do. Next slide. Another thing, as far as education, is we work with a lot of veterinarians in Mexico who want to learn new skills, placing IV catheters, especially learning how to do routine surgeries. Next slide. This is Santo Domingo. Again, a lot of teachers will bring their kids to our surgery sites for field trips. And it's great because the kids, get a little bit of awareness of, the importance of taking care of their pets, and also the whole ecology of the area is kind of brought to light, and trying to control the population of feral dogs. So next slide. Um, yeah, we do everything we can to kind of get the kids involved, and we let them listen to the patient's heart when they're on the table, and they seem to enjoy that. So this is another village, Tamatel. Next slide. This is Chikawa again, and who knows, maybe these two guys in the gallery are going to become veterinarians someday. That's Dr. Marcelino again. He is one of our big organizers of this campaign. Next slide. This is Dr. Leonel Antonio Remo Ramirez on the left. He is the person that does our scheduling. He does an excellent job, and lets the villages know we're coming. And like I said before, when we get there, there's usually a line of 30 to 40 people. Typical day is 50 to 60 surgeries. Um, he also invites recent graduates from the College of Veterinary Medicine in Oaxaca, and he's working with one of the recent graduates here, Jose. Um, we can't do it all with a campaign or two a year. We have to, educate and provide the knowledge and the logistics of how to carry these campaigns on after we're gone. And thanks to Lionel, he's been doing that. And so we feel that our work is expanding exponentially as time goes on. Next slide. This is one of our teams in Tonameca, and we were joined by Luis and Farid from Oaxaca. And again, they have gone on and teach other veterinarians, and they were very dedicated to the project when they were with us and beyond. Next slide. This is a typical Casa de Salud. Every Mexican village has one. And this is where people get their health care. They have a traveling nurse or doctor that comes by and takes care of the village. But oftentimes we'll set up our surgery right in the Casa de Salud. Next slide. This is the town of Cazueltepec. It's often one of the busiest cities that we visit, and we usually do at least 2 days of surgery here. Next slide. This is a team in another remote village called La Laguna del Palmar. And again, the lady on the left is Marcelino's daughter, Yuvia. She's just recently graduated from veterinary school. And then the second one from the right is Dr. Andrea Andrea Gomez, and she works for another sea turtle organization called Sea Turtle, SEE, and they specialize in giving tours of areas where nesting sea turtles are and where hatchlings are released. Next slide. This is Genghis and his alligator snapping turtle. This is a picture taken at the Mexican Sea Turtle Center. Well, it's not only sea turtles; they have land turtles there too. And it's in Mazunte, and it's, as I mentioned, it's kind of like a sea world for turtles. They have all kinds of displays of land turtles and sea turtles, and this alligator snapping turtle had a tumor that Genghis was doing a veterinary internship, and he removed that turtle's tumor. Next slide. This is Dr. Marcelino, busy again. This is again at the Sea Turtle Center, and this was a sea turtle that was brought in by some fishermen. It was just kind of floating aimlessly, and they did an exploratory on the turtle and found that it had a fish hook and a couple fish hooks and a bunch of plastic in its stomach. So Marcelino removed it, all the foreign material, and turtle went on and had a good recovery and was re-released into the ocean. Next slide. This is the entrance to the Sea Turtle Center, or the Turtle Center in Mazunte. Interesting story. The hunting of sea turtles was the main form of commerce in Mazunte until 1991, when sea turtle harvesting was outlawed. So they turned the sea turtle slaughtering plant into a center for turtles. Next slide. There's lots of interesting turtle art in Mazunte, a lot of different murals, and here's one. Next slide. Another sea turtle mural in Mazunte, and I think we got another one. Next slide. So this is a wall at the Sea Turtle Center. Next slide. So this is a story. We were doing surgery in the town of Mazunte, and it was January 6th. We had a long, busy day doing surgery, and on January 6th, we packed up, and the mayor, after we packed up, said, come to the town square, which was right next door to where we were, and join us for the Three Kings celebration. The Three Kings celebration on January 6th is special cake and horchata, and so we're enjoying the celebration with the village, and a dogfight broke out. So we got all our equipment back out and started patching up the loser. Unfortunately, this guy got beat up pretty bad, but we worked on him for about 2 hours, and he did real well. Next slide. So after patching him and bandaging him, we he recovered well from anesthesia, and then we followed up in the days following, and he came along really well. And then one of the local vets did further follow up, and so when we go back every year, we visit this guy, and he's so far stayed out of trouble. So, but these are the proud surgeons and assistants that patch the guy up, and that's uh, that's the Three Kings story. Next slide. So we're going to take a little trip to Palmerito, which is the beach where the Palmerito Sea Turtle Rescue operates. They patrol over 13 miles of beach on a quad runner, and during the egg laying season, they will harvest nests of 4 different species of sea turtles. Again, I mentioned the most endangered is the leatherback. And then next slide, the eggs are brought back to a special protected corral where the nests are recreated deep in the sand. And about 60 days later, they hatch. Next slide. And it's becoming quite a big tourist industry now to do turtle hatchling releases. And excuse me, it's one of the highlights of our trip is usually near the end of our surgery. We'll we'll meet at twilight and distribute the turtle hatchlings for release. Next slide. So they don't want you handling the turtles directly, so they give you a coconut shell to hold them. Next slide. So everybody really enjoys this part of the trip. And we line up at sunset, and they make their way to the ocean. Next slide.
Oh,
So
geez.
you have to let them release them a certain distance from the ocean so that they can imprint, because hopefully they return. They say the statistics are about 1 in 100 will actually return and lay eggs, but we're hoping that improves over time. But they these little hatchlings will travel thousands and thousands of miles, and when they come back, um, next slide. Uh, Hopefully, and after they become mature. Next slide. It's what's called an arribada. This is an arribada, or excuse me, the arrival at the Escobilla beach, and Escobilla is one of the biggest turtle nesting beaches in the world. Um, this is in November, and literally thousands and thousands of turtles are coming up all at once to lay eggs, and they go into a trance, and it's unbelievable how deep of a hole they dig. They lay their eggs, and then about 60 days later they hatch. So um, it's an amazing thing to witness, and if you ever get to an area of the world where there are arribadas, it's something to behold. It's an amazing thing. Hope you enjoyed our trip to southern Mexico and have a better understanding of the Mazunte Project and the Palmerito Sea Turtle Rescue. Thanks again for your contributions and support. And Project Animal Aid has really helped our project, and I know that they've done the same for many other projects all over the world. Thank you.
Oh, Pierre, thank you so much. That get a drink. I'm sorry that your voice is having some trouble. I hope you're feeling better. But yeah, this picture,
Thanks.
I'm just going to leave it sit on this picture for a little bit. And then Maya Key is going to say a few things as well.
Hello, everyone. And thank you so much, Pierre. That was just wonderful. I love what you guys do. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us this evening. We are so grateful for your support, which has enabled us to help so many animals this year. As Megan said, my name is Maya, and I am the development manager, and I also support Marcy in the program department. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about what we've been doing in the program department this year and how your support is helping animals all over the world. So as you may or may not know, well, now you do know because Megan told you, we do send hundreds and hundreds of boxes of supplies out to our partner organizations every year. And most of them, as you can see from this photo go the traditional route of shipping through USPS, through FedEx. And I want to point out, as you can see, a lot of the boxes have cute little stickers on them. And that is Lily, and her owner is a supporter and volunteer with Project Animal Aid. And the stickers say, "Sent with love from Lily." She won that privilege by being one of the highest bidders at our live auction. And I believe that Leslie is on tonight, and Leslie's beautiful goat Bucky will soon be taking over that position on our outgoing boxes. So we're very excited to say hello to Bucky soon, and sad to say goodbye to Lily. So what you may not know is that there are other routes that we take to place our supplies in the hands of our partners. And we do this for several reasons. Thank you. Next slide. So as many of you know, we do support many Colorado animal welfare organizations. And we love it when our partner organizations can come to the warehouse and quote, shop. The phrase that Marcy and I often hear is, "It's like Christmas." Except that Christmas is only once a year, but at Project Animal Aid, they can come as often as they need to get supplies. And nothing makes us happier than watching a car stuffed full of veterinary supplies, drive away, knowing that it is saving that organization thousands of dollars that they can now put towards saving more animals. And so now in this photo, we have Marcy with a representative from Denver's Feline Fix, and they've got boxes of gloves and supplies and an autoclave machine. So yes, it's one of our favorite things. Next slide. Okay, these next two slides are examples of how Marcy works her magic to facilitate the transfer of veterinary equipment from donors to our partner organizations. Often we will get offers of really large pieces of equipment that would be far too expensive or difficult to ship from place to place. But these are generally really amazing pieces that we would love to see in the hands of our partners. So both of the pieces that you're going to see in this slide and the next slide were donated through our wonderful relationship with Blue Pearl Hospitals. So in this instance, Marcy got an email from a hospital in New Mexico, in Phoenix, that they had an oxygen chamber that they needed to rehome. So Marcy reached out to the New Mexico Wildlife Center, and they were thrilled to drive and pick it up. And as luck would have it, not for the squirrel, but well, yes, for the squirrel, but the day after they got back, they received a very sick skunk, sorry, not squirrel, skunk, who desperately needed oxygen, and they were able to set him up in the oxygen chamber they had just picked up. Next slide. So in this instance, it was an ultrasound machine that a Blue Pearl hospital in Tampa no longer needed. And so Marcy reached out to a couple groups, and one of our partner organizations, the Nashville Wildlife Conservation Center, eagerly went and picked it up. And in these photos, they are doing an ultrasound on a possum, on a rescue possum. And if you look close, you can see that she's pregnant. So this kind of transfer is wonderful because while it does take staff time to facilitate these transfers, we know that this investment of time, we know that without this investment of time, there is a good chance that a lot of these pieces would end up in the landfill. And instead, now they are saving lives. Next slide. So another great way that we get our supplies to some of our partners is through people hand carrying them. So some of the groups that we partner with live in countries where it is extremely difficult to send supplies, either because of customs regulations or just idiosyncrasies in the system. So because of that, we do put the word out to all of our supporters that if anyone is traveling overseas, would they consider bringing an extra suitcase full of supplies for one of our partners? In here, we have a supporter bringing supplies to Sneha's Care in Kathmandu in Nepal, which cares for homeless animals. And then in the picture on the right, we have a supporter bringing a suitcase full of supplies to South Africa to the Vervet Monkey Foundation. So this benefits Project Animal Aid because it saves the organization money, and we get the peace of mind knowing that the supplies will actually get into the hands of our partners. And that is wonderful. And for the carrier as well, just handing over that suitcase of desperately needed supplies to a very grateful partner can be very rewarding. So let us know if you are traveling overseas, and we'll pack you a bag. All right, next slide. And let's see. Okay, so I love this story. These in this photo on the left are Doctors Tino Rizemba and Dr. Dan Broad. So Dr. Rizemba is the lead veterinarian at our partner organization, Lilongwe SPCA in Malawi. And sadly, many of our organizations that we work with almost on a daily basis are faced with stray animals that have been hit by cars. And they often come into these organizations either paralyzed or with broken limbs. And the outcome is often either euthanasia or amputation. So a couple of years ago, Dr. Rizemba reached out to me and asked if we had any orthopedic equipment that we could send him. He wanted to be able to give these animals a better future and was learning how to do orthopedic repairs. So I sent him a bunch of equipment. And then this past summer, Dr. Broad, who is an orthopedic surgeon in Denver, contacted us because he was going over to one of our partner organizations in Ecuador to teach them orthopedic procedures. And he wanted to bring some supplies over. He came to the warehouse and sorted through our orthopedic equipment. And while he was there, he happened to mention that he was going to Lilongwe with his wife, who's a nurse, and she was doing volunteer work over there. And so I mentioned Dr. Rizemba to him and told him that he was really eager to learn more orthopedics to help the injured patients that came into their shelter. So Dr. Broad was so excited to help him. And so I put them in touch. And when he went over there, he helped out Dr. Rizemba to learn new procedures, and they helped repair this dog's leg, as you can see on the right. And all of the instruments and hardware came from Project Animal Aid. And it's just wonderful. It was such a fortuitous mentioning of it. So we were excited to see that happen, and we were very happy to play a role in that. Next slide. So, sadly, as I'm sure we're all aware, it does seem that the world is experiencing more and more natural disasters, and this fall was no different. This fall seemed to be the season of floods. We received so many requests for help from our partner organizations in Albania, Romania, Nepal, and then, of course, Asheville, North Carolina, in our own country. And all of them experienced severe flooding, which destroyed or badly damaged their shelters. So Project Animal Aid is always here to help these organizations get back on their feet and send them supplies and equipment to rebuild. Next slide. All right, let's see, okay. So I'm gonna go move quickly. Oh, sorry, plugging in my, thought I had enough battery, but I didn't. Okay, so this slide, so people that stop by our warehouse often remark to Marcy and me on how many syringes and gloves we have. And they're not wrong. It is a lot. In fact, right now we have 3,400 boxes of gloves and 142,000 syringes. But at Project Animal Aid, we love gloves and syringes. In fact, just this year, we have already sent out over 2,000 boxes of gloves and over 40,000 syringes. So what are all these gloves and syringes for? Well, sometimes when I speak to veterinary professionals in the United States about what we do and why we do it, I'll start by explaining to them just how little some of our partner organizations have by saying some of them don't even have gloves or syringes. And that stops them in their tracks. Because anyone who works in the field knows that those are two of the basic requirements for working in medicine. You have to have syringes and gloves. Syringes are used to inject life-saving medicine and vaccines, like in this photo, and are also used to draw out fluids from infections or growths. They are perhaps the single most used supply in veterinary medicine. So we have a lot, but we need a lot, and we love them. Next slide. So in this slide, you can see gloves. So gloves are needed for doing everything in veterinary medicine because they keep the staff and the patients safe from infections. And here, like you can see, are some of our partner organizations using their gloves. And throughout a day, veterinary professionals will use multiple pairs of gloves. So they need a lot. So if we get an offer of a donation of gloves, we never say no, even if we already have thousands, because we know that our partners will always need gloves. We even got a huge donation of gloves from the Colorado Department of Homeland Security. So, and sadly, we know that if we can't make room for glove donations, they will end up in landfills. So we shuffle and we squeeze to make room for the gloves because we know just how valuable they actually are. And Megan, I think it is back to you.
All right.
Hello, good morning. This is Anena Gloria, the hospital administrative assistant. I work here in the Big Fix, Uganda. I'm standing here in our pharmacy where we keep all our supplies. This helps us to take care of all the dogs and cats that visit our hospital. And it's through your support that you give us. Thank you to the Project Animal Aid. Much appreciation.
So yes, it is back to me. That is, as she said, representative from the Big Fix Uganda in northern Uganda, and her thank you says, I think, a lot more than ours. So I wanted to share that with you. Thank you, Pierre. Thank you, Maya. We are now to the time of getting to any questions that you have for either Pierre or Project Animal Aid. So,
hi, Megan.
Hello.
Can you hear me, Megan? It's Larissa.
Hi, I can.
Can you? I'm in a car. Okay, yeah. No, I had a question. I had no idea when I signed up tonight that this organization is in Oaxaca. Is this question for you or the doctor, but is this organization the one that's outside Puerto Escondido in Oaxaca? Is that right?
We do, yeah, the Palmerito sea turtle is right outside of Puerto Escondido. The
cool.
beach
Yeah, no,
that they patrol.
Yep. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, no, we released some turtles there last year, so I just
great.
think that's so cool to see the full circle of working with Project Animal Aid over the years on this side, and then actually being out there releasing turtles I had no idea that you guys had such a big stretch, a big reach of what you do with the animals. I didn't know you were also involved with the stray animals, like the cats and dogs. So that's awesome. So thank you for, yeah, it was really obviously inspiring to see that kind of work. I will say watching the turtles run the gauntlet with the seagulls was not for the faint of heart.
Sure.
They try to do it at
Yeah.
sundown, but yeah, there's predators waiting for those hatchlings.
Yeah, I think about 15% made it. So that was a bit sad, but it was still, I guess, such as Mother Nature. But yeah, thank you. And thank you, Megan.
Of course, of course. Are there any other questions? I don't see any in the chat. So if you want to either put it in the chat or unmute yourself and ask, we are here to answer. So one question in the chat is for Pierre, are there positive signs in regard to the sea turtle hatchlings?
Yeah, they keep pretty accurate records, the Palmerito, and there's other groups that do turtle release and have protective corrals. So it's an economy now. The whole ecotourism is huge in this area, not only for turtle release, but the tourist boats go out. They're basically fishing boats that they've modified. And if you get a chance to get to this area and go out on a boat, you'll see whales, you'll see dolphins, hundreds of dolphins, and they just cruise right along the boat with you and jump. They seem to really enjoy enjoy the people. Sea turtles. It's just it's a wealth of sea life, ocean life in this area. So, and like I said, it formerly was a area that depended on turtle harvesting, and now they are very dependent on ecotourism.
Okay, any other questions from anyone?
Oh,
Pierre, I don't know if you can see the chat, but there's
Any vaccinations?
yeah.
Yeah, at this point, we're trying to establish a relationship with a veterinary company called Zoetis, which is a very big veterinary company that makes vaccines. So we're really trying to extend our services. In fact, we've just purchased a building, and our goal is to create a teaching hospital. So I think vaccines will be in the near future.
all right. Anyone else?
Oh, let's see. Lyra Rowe, can Pierre write the name of his village in Oaxaca for us? Pierre, do you want to add that into the chat?
Where we're based out of, it's Mazunte, Muzunte, Mazunte, and it's a interesting place. Very good food. A lot of fresh, vegetables and fruit, and very good restaurants. A lot of European backpackers are, favor this area, and a lot of people from Mexico City visit there.
All right.
All right. Anyone else? All right. So to wrap things up, we're at about time to wrap things up. And so this slide is just a short listing of different ways that people can support Project Animal Aid, and by extension, the Mazunte Project and our 125 partners. So if you have any questions about anything on this list, definitely give us a ring or an email or a text or whatever it may be. And this sloth is one of our new partners in Peru, one of their patients, and it is so cute. I couldn't not include it. And
Megan, is there a way that we can, sorry, is there a way that we can also donate directly to the Mazunte Project?
you know what I can do? I can get that link from Pierre, and I, have a listing of who's on this call, and I can email it to all of you directly. Would that be okay?
That'd be awesome.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks, Larissa.
Thank you.
And here's Raju again. He's our thank you representative always, because a smiling elephant, how can you not? So again, thank you always. We're so grateful for you, and I do want to mention, and she'll probably be very upset with me for doing so, but Candy Brad, who is the founder of what was Project Vets and is now Project Animal Aid, all of this started because of Candy and her brilliant, amazing, life-changing idea to start this organization. So Candy, I'm glad you're here. It's nice to see you, and thank you.
Thank you, Candy.
Thank you, guys. I may have started it, but you hit it out of the park. So it's because of all of your hard work. So
Well,
thank you for everything you do.
well, thank everyone on this call, and we're kind of finished. Again, the message is thank you. If you have any other questions, we'll be sitting on for a little while longer, so you're welcome to ask away. But if not, thanks for joining us. Have a wonderful evening and a really nice holiday season. And we hope to see you some way or another, or communicate with you here in the near future.
Yes, thank you everybody for coming this evening and for everything that you do for Project Animal Aid.
And Pierre, if you are still there, would you like to email me the best donation link
Sure.
for the Mazunte Project, and I will send it out to the group over email.
Okay, I'll get it right to you.
All
Thanks,
right.
Megan, for hosting, and appreciate being able to talk about the project. And it's just amazing what you do. Appreciate it all.
Oh, thank you, Pierre. Well,
You as well.
we love what you do.
Yes. we ooh and ah over the pictures often.
Yeah. Well, you'll have to visit Mazunte sometime. It's
I was gonna
a
say,
great spot.
maybe, yeah, someday I'll come down there and help with a clinic.
Yeah.
Yes. Staff meeting.
Dust off my technician skills.
I think we'll have 5 or 6 different teams out in the field this year.
Wow,
And we're starting we'll be starting January 1st.
that's awesome.
Oh, that's so great.
So we'll probably be there about 3 weeks. As long as our supplies last.
We'll try to.
Hopefully you have what you need from our end.
Yeah, well, we appreciate all that you give us. Really makes a big difference.
Oh,
Good. And always let us know,
Okay, thanks.
what we can provide. And if you're ever out in this area, it is really helpful for partners to be able to see what we have in the warehouse and just kind of think
Pierre,
about things differently.
yeah, and Pierre, when did you come by? You came by with your
Yeah,
wife.
right. We came by. My daughter, Yvonne, lives. Well, she is in Arvada, and now she's moved down to Littleton area.
Okay.
Oh, great. I live in Arvada.
Oh, really?
I do,
Oh,
yes.
yeah, it's a nice little town.
It is very nice.
Yeah. So next time, you come to visit her, stop by.
Yeah, we'll probably be there spring or summer for
Okay,
sure. But we'll
perfect.
stop by to Boulder.
Perfect.
Great. We'll be here too.
Great.
So, all right. Well, I think I'm going to end the chat for everyone or the call for everyone, and have a wonderful holiday, as I said, and thank you for joining us.
Good night, everyone.